everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Brandi Pam podcast. We are so excited that you could be here with us.
Woohoo!
I'm Brandi.
And I'm Pam. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes that we drop.
And if your friends aren't down with us already, put them on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So, first things first, I just want to address the elephant in the room.
What's that?
Yeah, something's different about you, Pam.
About me? Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so your bob is bobbing.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I got this new haircut. Mm-hmm. It was time. I had put color in my hair, I don't know, it was like 2 years ago. And for some reason, like, I don't know, it didn't do what it should have done. Like, I enjoyed it for a little bit, but it started to break my hair off a lot. So I was like, I want it cut all out. So most of it is out, still a little bit like at the ends, but I do feel like so much better, like just having a nice cut. A lot of weight lifted. I feel like it's going to grow back healthy.
Yeah,
it reveals some of the grays though. Like I feel like,
well, it's important that you get rid of that old hair, because I feel like a lot of times when people cut their hair or get their hair cut, it's like shedding kind of like some bad energy, or like whatever energy your hair was holding.
Yeah,
you just kind of get rid of that. I've actually adopted some new energy. Yeah. Energy.
Yeah, it's like you did the opposite of what I did. Tell me about this new look.
So I was up late one night, and it was in my very transitional phase when I went completely natural and bald. Okay, and I didn't know what to do with my hair. So this ad came on for Love Me Hair, these headband wigs. And I was like, that's for me, because I used to wear headbands when I had hair anyway, to keep it out of my face. That's realistic for me. I looked it up, found one that worked for my, I guess my style or whatever. I love this hair. Like it's soft,
really pretty. Yeah.
It's wavy.
It's got like a little tint color to it, like,
like
almost like a red.
Almost reddish.
Yeah. I like that.
So, I mean, I've never had that color hair before, but it looks pretty natural on me. It almost looks like it's growing out of my scalp, so I'm happy with it. I like that I can take it off at night and I can put it back on in the morning. I don't have to worry about setting it or anything. I can just wash it. I washed it in the shower with me, and I combed it through and everything, and look, it came out really beautiful. So, I'm feeling myself.
You should be. And
I'm looking like a doll baby.
I gotta try one of those. I've been saying that I was gonna go out and buy one, but I was a little bit afraid.
I support that. I support you getting whatever you want to do, whatever you want to get. You know what I'm saying? I turned 40 last year, so I'm 41. But I was gonna say, I turned 40, and I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore so much about what people think. I used to care about what people thought. Now, contrary to what people say, a lot of times they're like, I don't care what nobody think about. That is exactly who cares what somebody thinks. That person cares the most. I know that I don't say it a lot because it's not true. I do care what people think about me. I care how I affect other people. I care how people feel about me. I care how I make people feel. So, I'm just throwing that out there, that I cared about my look a lot more back in the day. I cared that people thought like, oh, she wearing fake hair, and I didn't want to, I don't know why I thought people were thinking about me so much. Nobody's thinking about us the way we think they are.
Yeah. That's a good thing to
you
remember.
Taught me that.
I did.
Yeah, you're like, nobody's thinking about you, Brandi. And I'm like, okay, now I could go outside looking like this. I'm fine. Yeah. So, cheers to that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody think about you. Ain't nobody think about you.
So what we gonna talk about today?
Well, speaking of ain't nobody thinking about you, you ever been ghosted?
Oh my.
Like you just been ghosted. And what I mean by ghosted is like, for no apparent reason, somebody just dropped off the face of the earth. You don't know what happened to them or what happened to your relationship. And you're just like trying to figure out if you're still friends, that sort of thing.
That actually has happened to me like pretty recently. I'm going to tell you the story. Had a friend. We were friends for over 20 years. Probably like over 25 years, I even say.
Yeah.
And this friend, out of the blue one day, I was texting wasn't getting replies, called, didn't get a reply. And then
so strange.
It's really strange. And then like we always would have our moments where we would talk to each other and then maybe go like a couple of months and then we would like just pick up like where we left off, and that wasn't a big deal. But I knew that this was different after like I would text and then follow up about that text or phone call and say like, hey, I'm just checking in, wanted to make sure like you're okay.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't getting a reply.
Wow.
So, you know, I do what a person naturally does. You know, you check to see if somebody's active on social media. Like,
yeah. Check to see if they're breathing.
Yeah. Because after a while, I start to, you know, become a little bit worried. Because I don't try to, like, just make it about me. But I think, like, you know, that person could really have some stuff going on. They were active on social media and then, like, kind of stopped and faded away for a little bit. So I was like, okay. So reached out again, you know, sent the text message that said, hey, I left you a voicemail after I left the voicemail just to make sure. So I did all of the things to make sure that, like, it wasn't just in my head. And then the very last thing that told me that this person for sure had ghosted me was when I had a conversation with one of my friends. I hadn't spoke to them in a while, but I knew this friend had a friend who was, you know, frequently talking to
the person who ghosted you, right?
Yes, yes. So I just happened to ask them, like, hey, do you know if, you know, such and such has talked to them? And she was like, oh, yeah, they were just talking the other day. I was like,
that is so whack.
Oh, okay. So like, it's
seriously,
me.
So you're alive, heart beating, blood flowing, and your brain is functional, and you couldn't just send a text back and say, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah. Or, you know, whatever it is. Like,
I don't know. Just tell me straight up. I'd rather know.
Okay.
Because I don't want to keep badgering you and feeling like it's not reciprocated. Like, I'm trying to, you know, connect with you in some way and say hi and even check up on you.
Yeah.
And like, not only are you not checking up on me, like you don't even care about me anymore, but you're not even courteous enough to just tell me the truth. Like,
yeah.
it feels...
Or to say like, I'm good. And even if you say that, then I know like, okay, you're doing fine and you're just taking space.
Okay. Take your space.
Yeah. I can understand that, but to just not say anything, I'm like, okay, what happened here?
Yeah, I mean, I've avoided confrontation before, so I know what that's all about. But in this case, I feel like there was nothing to confront.
Right.
I mean, it was just like, oh, I'm not talking to you ever again for whatever reason I've made up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what? I've realized sometimes people ghost you not because of something that you did to them, but because of something that they did to you. Like...
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Light bulb moment.
Yeah.
I remember I had a roommate. So I had this roommate who stopped talking to me. I mean, I felt like we were very good together. Like we were great roommates. I was always very thoughtful to her. I would make dinner for myself and then set aside lunch for us both the next day. Like I made dinner for us and then I set aside lunch for us the next day. Like with my money, everything. I'm talking about like we were both single, no kids, no nothing. So we just had like each other. I feel like we lived together. We're family, right?
Yeah.
I would take her clothes out of the washing machine, put them in the dryer, take them out of the dryer, fold them, and put them in her room. Right?
Wow, you were doing a lot.
But when she needed to wash her clothes, she would take my clothes out of the washer and put it on top of the dryer. Like she was mad at me. Okay? So I'm just like, all right, well, I put yours in the dryer, let them dry thoroughly, made sure they weren't still damp before I took them out, and I folded them hot and put them in your room. Like family does for each other. Like I'm making sure
you took them out right when they were done.
Well, because I'm waiting to wash my laundry. So instead of me just like disregarding her laundry or putting it aside, I just finished up her laundry for her. You know what I mean? Like I want to do my laundry, so I'm gonna finish yours first because I know yours is already in there. But if hers needed to be done and she wanted to, you know, get mine out quickly, she would just leave mine wet and sopping on top of the dryer. And I would have to rewash my clothes. It would make it very inconvenient for me. Also, when she cooked for herself, and she would also just pack herself a lunch. So cooked for herself, didn't offer me any, and the leftovers were just hers as well. And I'm just like, man, like there is like literally no reciprocity here. None. None. She did not care about me. So I was like, all right, well, that sucks and it hurts. But then she stopped talking to me altogether. That's when I realized that she had done something to me. So you know the security deposit that you get back, like when you've been paying your rent on a consistent basis. Well, instead of her keeping, like, okay, so she didn't pay her rent on time ever, and I paid my rent. I saw the ledger. I was like, oh dag, she's not paying her rent on time. But the landlord, they knew we were sharing. Anyway, long story short, she took back the deposit when they returned it, the whole thing, and went on a trip with the money. And when she got back, we were not friends anymore. And I think once she cashed the check, we weren't friends anymore. It was like she couldn't bring herself to talk to me because she knew what she had done.
Right.
And it was like, damn, like, not only did you do something horrible to me, but then you didn't talk to me afterwards and badmouthed me.
Right.
Like, as if it was awful. I had never been done dirty like that ever in my life. And I realized, like, it was just immaturity that made her do that, I'm sure. But I just couldn't believe
she wanted to go on that trip more than she wanted to be your friend.
I don't think that I was important at all to her.
Yeah.
And I've made the mistake many times in my life of believing that I was more important to somebody based on what they said to me, not how they acted,
Yeah. Well, what's the difference, like, between getting ghosted by, like, a roommate or a platonic friend versus somebody that you're dating? Like, has that ever happened to you? Like, where somebody you're dating, like, ghosted you? I feel like that's, like, more common. Like, we expect that a little bit more. Like, oh, yeah, I was talking to this guy, and he just stopped calling me, or whatever.
I mean, listen, okay, so, I mean, a couple of times a guy has stopped calling me. And
they usually don't, though. They bother you.
No. Like, in my 20s, I think I was so desperate. Like, I would just, like, pine away over a guy. Like, if a guy acted like he wasn't interested in me, I had no idea why that would be. It'd be like, oh my gosh, how could he have, stopped calling me because I'm amazing. Like, I'm a dime, I'm a 10. Everything about me is great. And I really truly believe that. But it would really hurt my self-esteem if they would stop calling me. So I would just, like, play sad songs and cry. I would. For months. I could not get over it.
But did they ghost you, or did it, like...
Yeah, totally, like, ignore me and everything. Like, I'm talking about, like, I couldn't get a reply. So I'm just like, dang, like, this just sucks. You know what I mean? So
did that hurt more than, like, your friend who... No, okay.
No, to lose a friend hurts way more than to lose a lover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Losing a lover is like, what I'm saying? Like, usually you don't get that deep if they can just detach from you that fast. Like, usually you're not that deep.
Right.
But when it's a friend and you've shared secrets with that person, you don't really share, like, that much intimate detail with somebody who's a prospective lover. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't really want them holding that against you in an argument, stuff like that. Like, until you get to be deep, deep, deep with somebody, you're not sharing too much. But with girlfriends or, like, platonic friends, they know things about you. So if they just decide not to ever talk to you again, you don't know what they're saying about you when they're with other people. You don't know how they've muddied the waters for other people, So that can be a little bit daunting, I suppose. You're just like, I don't know. Is that the right word to use?
Maybe.
Taunting? Haunting.
None of those. None of those.
Well, it can make you feel like a little insecure, when you realize, like, somebody is not talking to you, but they're still talking to your other friends.
Yeah, that is a little bit weird.
It's like, what did I do?
Yeah. I don't know if I've had a situation where they were talking to other friends still that I know.
In this particular situation, he was talking to other people.
Well, other people, but I wouldn't consider them like weren't in the same friend group. So it wasn't...
He's still talking.
Yeah.
He ain't dead.
Right.
So, yeah, there's no reason for you to treat me like that.
Yeah.
You can still talk. You talk to somebody. So
to somebody, right, yeah.
You're talking.
You're able to, right, yeah.
And if you're able to talk, you can say, hey, our friendship is kaput.
It's over.
You know what I'm saying?
I've had enough of this.
Yes, like, I don't like the way you breathe while you eat. Whatever it is.
Right, yeah, like, yeah. So wait, okay, so have you ever been the one who's done the ghosting where you just stop talking to a person with no explanation? You did not like have the conversation. You were just like, I ain't talking to her, or I'm not talking to him.
I feel like usually if I stop talking to somebody, there is, they know why. Like, they usually know why. There's no, I don't just do it out of nowhere. That's rude. It's kind of like inconsiderate. And
is it rude though? I mean, because I feel like sometimes you have to do it for your own well-being. Like, it is like, people can come into your life, they can be really toxic, and you got to find a way to separate yourself. At least for me, I have to separate myself from them.
Maybe they don't know they're toxic. So I still think that they should have some sort of explanation. It's like, if somebody is making me feel bad inside, I'm going to tell them. Like, at this point anyway, like when I was younger, I probably didn't have the words, you know, or maybe even the gumption.
Right.
But now I'm like, you know what? I don't like how you talk to little kids, you know, or whatever it is.
Like, you yelled at your nephew. That was not cool.
Right.
So,
or you yelled at the lady at the Wendy's lady at the drive-thru. I had to break up with somebody before because he was like acting like he was better than the people serving him at the drive-thru. So he got ghosted.
Was it ghosted?
Or he did have to ask me what happened. He
did
have to ask me.
So wait, did you ghost him first and then he had to ask? Or?
I did. I did go ghost.
Okay.
I went ghost. I was like, you know what? I'm never talking to him again. And he was a lover. But not anymore. Not after he embarrassed me like that at the Wendy's drive-thru. He was rude to that girl.
Gosh.
He was rude to her. I was like, oh, who do you think he is? Talking about this is your only job to get my order right. I was like, oh, yeah? You ain't got a girlfriend now.
That's terrible.
This food doesn't even taste good sitting next to you. You know? So, yeah, he got ghosted first. And then he was like, what did I do? And I was like, your arrogance is just...
So he actually didn't know, like,
no, he didn't know
that was an issue.
He didn't
Probably
know.
an issue with other people, too. I mean, like, in different ways. Maybe not in the Wendy's drive-thru, but, like...
Yeah.
Someplace else.
I'm telling you, like, if you realize that only a select few people speak to you, not that you're choosy, but people are not really into you like that. And you don't have a lot to choose from when it comes to, like, hanging. Like, oh, who wants to hang out with me on Friday? And, like, almost nobody. Yeah, the problem is you. The problem is you.
Oh, my gosh.
The problem isn't you, Pam. In this case, you're an anomaly. You're the only person I know who, like, I don't know, you don't offend me.
So what does that conversation sound like when you're trying to tell somebody that, because all I'm thinking about is the people who I guess I've ghosted. I feel like they knew.
Have you ever really ghosted somebody?
I know. I feel like they knew. And if I stopped talking to them, like, they knew it was coming.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
right.
I didn't completely ghost them, but I do. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. But I do feel the need sometimes to just, if someone is toxic, I have to block from my phone. Yeah. Like, do not have access to me.
Sometimes, though, people don't really, like I said, they don't know they're being toxic. Like, for instance, when somebody stops speaking to me, mostly I'll think, like, okay, that person's busy. They got things going on in their life. Maybe they have things going on that they don't want to talk about. It causes them to, you know, like there's too many triggers in the conversation. Like, they won't be able to, like, really verbalize what's happening with them. They need some space. They need time. Not just from me, but, like, maybe from everybody. And I usually think, oh, it's not my problem. But then if time wears on and I've reached out a few times, I've tried to connect, I've invited them to things they didn't respond to, or I've just, like, said, hello, I miss you, I love you, whatever, you know, because I get all of my feelings about stuff. So if I get no replies and it's been, like, an extended period of time, then I start to be very introspective. And I do a lot of self-reflection, and I think to myself, like, okay, so what would be the thing that would be off-putting for that person? Like, why would they not want to talk to me? Is it
right? Then
I start thinking about how, like, oh, did I overtalk her in a conversation? Did I not listen to her problem when she was trying to explain something to me? Even earlier today, you were trying to tell me something and you had to stop and say, you know what? You're not hearing me. And you are the only person I think who's in my life besides my sister who will pause and just say, all right, Brandi, you need to listen, or else I'm not going to continue the conversation with you. And I don't like to feel that way because, of course, I don't mean to offend you or hurt you, but I get, like, real hype. sometimes when I'm talking. And, you know, maybe that person doesn't know how to approach that situation. They're like, what is this? How come she's not listening to me? And like, you know what? I just am not going to share with her anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they don't feel good to share with me anymore. And I can understand that. So I start to think that way. Like, what have I done to upset that person? Am I not being a good listener? Am I not being a good friend? Was I not a good hostess? What did I have? Did I let my bad mood affect them? Did I project something onto them? You know, like I think about things like that.
Yeah.
How about you? Like, do you ever do any like self-reflection like that and try to figure out if there was something that maybe you don't do nothing to nobody? She's the nicest person.
I do some self-reflection, and I know that I do offend people. Yeah.
You know what? If you're offended, it's you. Because Pam is not. She's so nice. Honestly, like, you're the best listener.
Okay, I think that I am a pretty good listener, but it doesn't mean that something that I did or said cannot offend somebody. You don't know, like, the place a person might be, the tone. I could be kind of direct sometimes, and that is not for everybody.
It isn't. You're right. A lot of people don't understand, and they think that maybe you don't care because
I just like to
give this face. Like,
I like to just make sure that there's clear understanding, you know. And I don't think I was always like that, you know, when I was more of a people pleaser before. So instead of being direct, it was like, well, how do you feel about, you know, I kind of want to, you know.
Yeah.
And you tiptoe around their feelings instead of thinking about, like, how things are making you feel. So.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. I realize that, like, when you're in a long-term, close friendship with somebody, like how I see you for exactly who you are. Like, you know, so I know what you mean, even if it sounds terse. It's like, oh, she's just hungry, but she didn't mean it like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's usually
like,
it.
Whereas somebody else would be like, wow, she didn't have to say it like that.
Right.
You know? And it's like, well, you know, just give her something to eat. And you'll just give her something to eat. Like
a sandwich.
Why doesn't everybody understand that when anybody is hungry, especially Pam, that they are going to have an attitude? Like, seriously.
Just need a snack.
I used to have such an attitude, like, in the mall. I didn't feel like shopping no more. Like, all of a sudden, I just be like, I don't feel like shopping no more. Rawr, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then the Annie Ann's pretzel, you're like, you know what? Let me get that and a lemonade.
Remember how Shellham Mall used to smell like those cookies?
Oh, yeah.
The chocolate chip cookies. They were delicious. Nobody ever bought me any while I was there. So if you'd like to send cookies my way, I'm going to give you the place to send those right down below. Okay.
All right. So back to ghosting. So after, like, somebody has, like, exited your life, maybe they ghosted you.
Grand exit.
Yeah. You haven't heard from them. How do you feel about, like, letting them back in? Like, when they come around and like, hey, what's going on? Or, like...
Yeah, I just wonder, like...
They send that text.
Honestly, it's really hard for me to decide, like, to just be mad at them. Because I usually miss that person a lot. If somebody ghosts me and I feel it, it's because I care about them. Like, somebody could ghost you and, like, maybe you don't even care. You're like, all right, I'm glad I ain't hearing from that person no more.
Do you then ask them why? Like, hey, what happened? I haven't heard from you in a year.
I try not to get into it myself. Like, I'll just let them tell me if they want to. But mostly when they get back in touch with me, I find it really hard to be mad at them because I miss them.
Yeah. So you're so happy to have them
still
back.
Create a little bit, but but like, boundaries have to be put in place now because you can't hurt me like that again. I'm gonna have to let you know, like, all right, well, you didn't call me for 6-7 months, so that's why you weren't invited to the last thing I did.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't heard from you.
Right.
So I'm not going to continue to reach out, give you the invitation, because I feel like it's kind of like, you know, maybe you don't want to be invited. Maybe you don't want to feel obligated to be around me. Have you ever just, like, not sent the invite because you just they haven't come before in the past?
Yeah.
You know,
it's like, it's always been a no. So, like, why am I going to send this again so you can, like, reject it? You know, When you want to be somewhere and show up somewhere, like you make an effort, but
Right.
for the person that is always too busy or
just
says
your
no
thing,
thank you.
Yeah, your thing is just not important to them. So yeah, if I feel like I'm not important to you, then I'm going to try my best to make you unimportant to me, even if you have been very important to me in the past.
You just have to know where to place them then, you know.
I seriously still have a hard time with it though. Like I have a person who seemingly ghosts me all the time, but will hit me up and be like, "What's up?" in a very enthusiastic text tone. And I'm like, "Hey, oh, we're still friends?" Because I definitely thought we broke up. You know what I mean? Definitely thought we broke up. So I'm just like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then I don't even want to be mad because, you know, I miss them so much. I'm just like, "Well, I want to see you. I want to know what you're up to. I want to see what you look like now. I want to smell your neck. Come here, you know?" But that's the thing is like, I love that person so much and I give so much love when I love somebody that I don't mind that you take the space. I just would like an explanation, you know? I would like, you know, just a kind word to say like, "Hey, listen, you know, Brandi, you're a bit much for me in my life right now. Your problems are overwhelming to me," or whatever it is that's bothering you. Like, just let me know.
Yeah.
You looking at my hair again?
It looks really nice.
I know, right? Look at this.
Where did you where'd you say you got it?
LoveMeHair.com. I think it's .com. But anyway, it was Love Me Hair. It was really dope. I like this website. You get a lot of different pieces.
I'm gonna check them out.
John.
I want something blonde with blonde in it.
I'm gonna get something like
I'm gonna show up one day too. It's gonna be a surprise. Y'all be like, "Oh, look at him."
Transitional hairstyles. They have to be wigs. So you can take them right off before you go to sleep. It's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's a good time. But yeah, being ghosted does suck, and it's not a fun place to be at. You definitely don't want to, like, once it's been done to you, you know, like, how bad it feels. You don't want to do it to somebody else. So I kind of like to give an explanation. If I'm not going to talk to you anymore, I'm really going to tell you how I felt disrespected or disregarded or dissed in any way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. What you think?
Have the hard conversation. Tell the truth.
Truth hurts.
That's it.
That's all I'm saying about that too. Okay, so I think that we've exhausted this conversation for now. And I'm about to get ghosts.
Bye. All right, this one is actually about you, so I really know she's fine. Tell Brandi, leave the Heart and Soul channel alone. Love that station. Thank you.
Anybody asked you? Pam was acting like my dad earlier, listening to the Heart and